Earlier in the week, the Securities and Exchange Commission announced plans to commence the regulation of virtual and crypto assets transactions of foreign and domestic issuers in the country. The SEC, in a statement, directs individuals and corporates to commence the registration of virtual activities, including digital asset offerings, initial coin offerings, security tokens, and other blockchain-based offers. Now, classifying crypto tokens and crypto coin investments as securities transactions, the regulator directs sponsors and issuers to immediately commence registration within 3-month period. Joining us now to share his perspective on this development is the head of portfolio management at Commercial Partners, Victor Aluyi. Good morning, Victor. Thank you for joining us.
Morning, Chimezie. Thanks for having me.
So how is this regulation being perceived across the capital market community?
Well, so, just a bit of a background, because obviously cryptos have been in the ascendancy over the last 2 years, thereabouts. Sometime in 2017, the CBN issued a circular essentially banning all forms of digital currency transactions in the country. However, in 2019, under the FinTech Roadmap for Nigerian capital markets, the committee highlighted the fact that the SEC needed to decide, its preferred classification for crypto and other digital currencies, and also create, a framework for the regulation of all virtual asset exchanges. In 2019 as well, the Commonwealth also published a, regulatory guidance for virtual currencies as well. So this has been in the works for some time now. A lot of things have led up to, the point where we are. Just also for some context, according to a recent report released by, blockchain.com, Nigeria has the fastest growing cryptocurrency markets in the world. Also in Africa, Nigeria has by far the highest volume of transactions. Just in Q2 alone, we had about $34.4 million in transactions. If you compare that to South Africa, which came in second at about 15 million, it tells you that, there's a lot that is going on here in Nigeria, particularly in regards to cryptocurrency. So certainly what the SEC has done with that statement is to clearly show its intention to, regulate that space. According to Section 13 of the Investment and Securities Act of 2007, it essentially empowers the SEC as the apex regulatory body for capital market activity in Nigeria. So the apex regulatory agency, the SEC, its angle here would basically be around investor protection and, transparency in the market. So clearly, this is a welcome development. This is an initiative that would also further deepen, the capital market by increasing, if you will, the amount of offerings or securities with which clients can have exposure within that space. So it is a welcome development.
Now, several times the CBN had warned that cryptocurrencies are not legal tender and that investors are unprotected. Any idea as what has changed?
Well, the truth of the matter is that the regulatory bodies have essentially paid attention. Like I said earlier, Nigeria is the fastest growing market for transactions globally. That is quite instructive. Africa, we are, the biggest by far. These are very, instructive, indications that the regulatory agencies have to pay attention to. So, and that's the reason we're seeing this sort of framework being released to ensure that some form of regulation is created within that space. Because the fact that you don't quite understand how something works doesn't mean that you just completely throw it out. So I think it's a right move for the SEC to do this. I think there will certainly be a lot of stakeholder engagement to create even more transparency within the market and essentially make the framework even more encompassing. That would essentially enhance, the trading, investment, if you will, in this, sort of like new asset class, if you will.
See the CBN also adopting same approach as the SEC.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Do you see the CBN adopting same approach as the SEC?
I believe so. The SEC is the apex regulatory body for the capital market. The CBN is essentially the apex regulatory body for financial services in Nigeria, which obviously all of these activities fall under.
So I think that we will begin to see, maybe statements from the Apex Bank. I also think that they are probably most likely working on some sort of framework that would enable this to be subsumed within the banking system. Because, of course, if the SEC is beginning to regulate trading activities in that area, these are transactions that will certainly have to go through the banking system. So clearly, I believe that the Apex Bank would also be having some sort of framework in the works to ensure that these efforts or initiatives are properly harmonized.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Victor.
Thank you for
Victor
having me.
Aluyi is the head of portfolio management at Commercio Partners.